to the Real Women, Real Lives, Real Wisdom series. And this morning I am chatting to a good friend of mine, Amanda PARADINE. Hi, Amanda.
Morning.
In fact, well, we'll chat a little bit about how we met in a minute. Let me just remind folks watching this video about what this project is about. So this project started a few weeks ago as a random idea I had whilst in the shower one morning, because I tend to have lots of creative ideas. Most of them go in the bin, but this one kind of really appealed to me. And it was at a time when I was really wanting to capture that kind of sense of community that most women kind of really thrive on. And yet at the moment, in these weird times, we're kind of feeling, I think, that our communities are shrinking, partly because we're looking around thinking, well, we don't want to burden anyone that we know with how we're feeling, because they seem to have got it all handled. When in reality, we sort of take our cues from other women in our network about how to handle situations, about how to feel, about how to kind of overcome stresses. And when it looks on the surface like everyone else has got it handled, it can make you feel like your own community is shrinking because, you can't really turn to anyone. So I wanted this project to be, first and foremost, an inspiration to anyone watching this, because these 8 women that I'm collaborating with have all, whether they realize it or not, have all had a role to play and been inspirational for me in my own journey. And they've got stories to tell themselves about how they've been in a place of overwhelm and stress and major life change. So the stories they can tell and the wisdom we can draw from their stories can act as like those real sort of, nuggets of hope for other people, other women that are struggling and perhaps feeling that their own community has shrunk. So that's why we're running this this project. And Amanda, well, do you know what? Introduce yourself first, because I'll just carry on chatting, won't I? So you introduce yourself first, my love.
Okay. So hi everybody. Thanks for listening. My name's Amanda PARADINE, and I would describe myself as a career coach, I think, if we have to put a label on it. I have a background in HR and recruitment, corporate career, and shifted slightly a few years ago to start working as a coach. And I help people feeling stuck in their career and probably in their life as well. So people who may have been very successful in their career to date, but are kind of thinking, I want to do something different, but I just don't know what, and I don't know where to start. Or people who know where they want to get to in their career, but struggle to kind of see a pathway for themselves. So I help people kind of reimagine their future, put in place action plans to help them get to where they want to get to, help them with ideas, and help them build confidence too. As often thinking about making a big change or doing something different, it can feel a bit scary. So I do a lot of work with people on building confidence and self-belief so that they can really achieve the life that they want and feel happy and fulfilled in what they're doing.
Do you know what? We all need a bit of that right now.
Yeah.
Don't we? We absolutely do. We do. Amanda, when did we meet each other? I think it was probably 2 or 3 years ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So we were at a local, I think they're a charity, running, they support businesses, local small businesses, startups, and we met at a training session, didn't we, in setting up your business. And we found ourselves sitting next to each other, and we're both quite chatty, so we're kind of chatting to people around us and kind of just connected, didn't we? And we were both starting out as coaches at the beginning of our journey, and there was a lot of synergy in what we did. So I found that it was really exciting to meet somebody else in the same area doing something that could potentially be, we could work together, we thought, didn't we? I mean, I immediately thought that as well. And I like working with other people. One of the things I struggle with doing coaching is a kind of that, you don't get that team interaction and working with somebody else. So we've collaborated on some projects and continue to do so. And I absolutely love working with you. It's brilliant.
Amanda is the reason why I've chosen, Amanda was like one of my top 3 to be part of this project. When I was thinking, right, who would I ask? It's like, right, Amanda has to be in this. And the reason I asked you, Amanda, and just to let everyone else know, is that Amanda is like the voice in my head because I know that I can overcomplicate things in my life, and Amanda is like the voice in my head that says, you're overcomplicating, bring it back to what's real for you, cut through the crap, just keep it simple. And she's like my little inner voice now, in a nice way, Amanda. My little inner voice that keeps me on the path of, what's true to me and what means to me, what means, everything to me, what's meaningful to me. And we've connected over so much, haven't we? And we have an alarming amount of similarities. I must just share this, Amanda, because it won't go unnoticed that the background that Amanda has behind her at the moment is, I had no idea that she'd painted her dining room. And yet here am I, we're both in the same top. And here am I with jewellery that's in the same colour as her background. And this happens all the time.
So weird. Yeah.
We constantly find out that we've been thinking the same thing, or we turn up wearing the same colours, or it's just really weird. So this is an example of Amanda is an example of someone that you need to have in your network, because she just gets you. And that's why you're here in this project.
Oh, thank you. Privilege that you asked me to be involved, and I really resonate with the whole purpose of the project. I think it's brilliant that you're doing it, Gillian.
So how about you share your quote then that you're bringing into this project, and maybe a little bit about what that quote kind of signifies to you, what it's meant to you in your journey.
Okay, so my quote is, and I'm not sure who this is attributed to, it's probably one of those quotes that's been used and changed, so I don't know where it's come from, but the quote is, when you can't change the direction of the wind, adjust your sails. And it's a really important quote for me, particularly the reason I chose it was it came from a time, and I discovered it during a time when I was going through a particularly difficult time in my life, and I'd separated from my husband. I was working full time. I'd got 2 children that I was juggling, so I was pretty exhausted, feeling really overwhelmed at that point. And I remember coming across this quote, and it was a lovely picture of a sailing boat, obviously, as well. And I've been sailing a couple of times, so I'm lucky enough to have friends that sail, and I've been sailing, and I loved it, that sense of freedom that you get with it. So it really resonated with me at a time when things were really tricky for me. And it kind of it did for me what it says on the tin: you can't change the direction of the wind, adjust your sails. And there were certain things within my situation that I couldn't change, that I didn't have any control over. But actually there are always things that you can adapt and think about and change and do. So I guess it's kind of accepting the things that you can't change, but adapting so that you're not necessarily working against it. You're maybe using the circumstances to do something slightly different that maybe you wouldn't have done before. And it was at this time that I did set up my business alongside all of those things that were going on, and working full time as well. I kind of used that momentum, if you like, to think about what I wanted life to look like. So I started to adjust my sails to move in the direction that I wanted to go. So it felt like I was taking a bit more control and starting to create a future for myself that kind of matched what I wanted my life to look and feel like. So yeah, it is a really important quote for me, and I think that it's something that I look at again and again to remind myself, when things feel tricky or stuck or something happens, because life does happen, doesn't it? And things happen that you're not expecting, that you don't really want to happen, but actually it helps remind me that I'm resilient and that I can cope and that I'm adaptable and I can kind of be agile. And, that's in my control. Those things, those skills that I've got are in me. They're not taken away because something happens or a difficult situation comes along. That's my toolkit, and it's in me. So yeah, that's why it's important for me.
I love the way you just described that. It's just so, yeah, that is going to be so inspirational to anybody watching this who is feeling like you just said, like, you know, all sorts of stuff has just happened, you know, feeling like it's happened to them. And just recognizing that there are things inside you that you can control already, that you can control, and things that you can take charge of, that, you know, to help you.
Definitely.
They're probably your wisdom points, actually, aren't they? If you kind of had to summarize this down into a couple of kind of points of wisdom for women, they're...
Yeah, I think it is. If things aren't feeling brilliant right now, if something's happened or you're in a situation where you are feeling overwhelmed, out of control, and you don't know how to move, just remind yourself that this too shall pass. You're not going to be in that situation forever, and to start thinking about small things that you could do to adjust your sails a little, because often those, certainly from my perspective, those small things that I did, the small shifts in mindset. So to kind of think about, okay, this is happening to me and I can't change it, but what I can change is how I respond to that situation, how I talk to myself about that situation. So instead of saying, this is awful, this is terrible, you know, it's really awful, it's unfair, I can say, well, actually, it is awful, but I'm going to do something. I'm going to take some control of what I can take some control of, and taking those really small actions out of that overwhelm, and then you'll find that what I did, I certainly started to feel better, following my instincts and just keeping going even when things don't feel great.
Oh, that's just so poignant at this time, I think. Really poignant now more than ever, perhaps.
I think it is, and there are lots of people who are, as you say, it's a difficult time, people out of work or made redundant or having to do things that they don't particularly want to do at the moment just to keep some money coming in. So yeah, it's I hope that resonates with people, and helps, you know, even one person feel a little better if they're not feeling great today.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Amanda.
Thank you.
Being part of this project. And just to remind the viewers here that I am personally illustrating Amanda's quote and each of the other 7 quotes in this series into a pack of prints, basically. And each print will have the story and the wisdom from each woman on the reverse. And you'll be able to purchase packs of these prints, and 20% of the profits will be going directly to mine. So this project will not only be helping the women that are engaging with the wisdom that you're sharing in these videos and on the prints, but it's also helping Mind to support many hundreds, if not thousands of people in a much wider audience that are also struggling. And Mind is a charity that's very close to my heart as well. So Amanda, we'll pop your business details below this video.
Thank you.
When it goes live, so people can contact you directly if they wish, or come and find out more about how you can help. And I'm sure that we will be chatting again soon, and you know, sharing stories about how we've turned up in the same clothes again, you know. But for now then, we'll close the video there. Okay.
Thank you very much, Gillian.
See you soon.
Bye.